Kevin,
What's up, Mike? How you doing?
it's good to see you, man. How's it going?
Good, good. You know how it is. Today was a longer day for me. So,
Dude, catch me up, man. What's going on? Are you wrestling all day, every day?
no, not well, at least trying to train as often as I can. The wrestling's a little different, as like considering like a sport, but at least like considering the COVID shows is just like impossible right now unless you're like WWE or AEW. Which is like luckily I got one spot with that with one of those companies, but other shows are like starting to open up slowly right now, but it's the people that are getting booked. I almost got booked in Chicago, but it's just like you got to be a name to get booked right now because it's just like they're like they have so much money they can use, so they got to bring the people that can make them the most money. So, but besides shows, I'm just training. Usually like at least wrestling 2 days a week, and then just gym like 6 days a week. I want to say. But now my school moved to like a new spot where we can use the ring basically every day. So I'm gonna try to up it up to like 3 days or 4 days. Wrestling's a little rough, if you do it like too often. So I'm gonna try to do 3 to 4 days depending. So
What do your workouts look like right now? Because you were like what, Olympic powerlifter, Olympic weightlifter, and now you're kind
Olympic
of like a bodybuilder who's like doing like wrestling.
legit, I have not done any Olympic weightlifting since I stopped like doing it. It's just like it wasn't worth it at that point. Like I was getting too many injuries. Like my knees were taking a toll, so I was thinking about doing some. I think I did some maybe, like, but just like not any sort of preparation. Just did like one day randomly. But now I'm just doing like more. I want to say like sort of strength bodybuilding sort of workouts. So you got to be functional, but you also got to look good for wrestling. So yeah, sort of like a strength bodybuilding kind of split.
I saw you were lifting something heavy the other day. Did that feel you were doing some rack pulls, I think.
Yeah, like yeah, my girlfriend. We actually did deadlifts also like a day before, but we normally do like rack pulls and like we do box squats. Just because like I used to alternate between like deadlifts and rack pulls, and when on squat days I would do deep squats, and then the week I would do like box squats just to like give it a little rest of the hips. But with my girlfriend, she's been wrestling longer than me. She's been wrestling like 8 years, so her knees are just like destroyed at this point. So, and since we always work out together, it's easier to do box squats. And then at the same time, I rest my knees. I feel good. I feel like still. I did deep squats like I want to say like a month ago again, just to like do them, and I still have like pretty much a good amount of strength. So I'll take it. Box squats is pretty good, and for the rack pulls, I think we did. I think it was like 405 I did, but my girlfriend was pushing me. I don't like going too heavy on rack pulls. It's just like her pushing me. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's rough.
Dude, I remember when we first met, you were getting ready for to be on like the Olympic team for was it Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I was what was I trying to do? I was trying to do the over there there's here you know how they're the Pan Ams
Yeah.
for the US. Yeah, so over there we have Pan Ams, and also for Puerto Rico is the Caribbean. So we have like Caribbean. So it's like instead of a Pan Am, it's like a Central Am they call it because like the Central Americas, I think it is. My geography's a little off, but something like that. Which is like it includes Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Um, who else is in there? Puerto Rico. I want to say Haiti, like that little Caribbean area. That's what it includes. So those games, it's like a little pre-qualifier for the Pan Ams. So that's how basically it works over there. So I was trying to prepare for that, and I was trying to gain weight. I was like 225. That's
Yeah.
102 in kilos. So, but yeah, I was trying to gain weight for that, and then I competed over there. Sadly, like I had another competition, which was like the university championships I was preparing for. So they ended up being like a week, like I had prepared. I think I did like 12-week prep. I had planned, and like the competition back home, they ended up like doing it like a week before my peak week or something like that. I just like messed it up, and I was like, "Hey, can I do it? Can you guys like count my competition like scores for from the university championships? Like it's also like it's what's the word? It's approved by it's
Yeah.
USA Weightlifting, so it's like they're certified." And they were like, "No, you have to be here." So that just like I don't know if it's a combination between mental and how also if you like you did a marathon, you know how they like I mean the triathlon, if you like peak the wrong week, it just like messes up everything. So I don't know. So yeah, but I was preparing for that for the Central American Games.
Yeah, dude. I remember when we met, you were like, you're huge.
Fat.
But dude, like I remember you were wearing like a stringer, and you came into the grad affairs office. We were talking about the master's program. I was like, dude, this guy's huge. This is great. Um, yeah, dude. I remember. Did you like hurt your wrist or something, right? And you kind of like took a
Yeah,
step back.
legit. I was doing here the training. I was trying to do a different sort of training here in the U.S. or the gym where I was going to. It was just so different here. Like also a big thing, like the cultural difference was just between Puerto Rico and here was just ginormous. It also affected the training. It was like a bunch of stuff. Like over there, I used to train. My coach was Cuban, so he used to do Soviets. He got trained by the Soviets basically. So it was Soviet style training, which is more how do I say it differently? Just the periodization was different to like how here when I came here I just realized it was like they would do 3 week cycles. So it would be like 70%, 80%, 90%. And like every month you would have like a very heavy like it could be like a hang clean or it could be like a muscle snatch, like heavy, some random. And for me, that was different because I would do like only 6 exercises. I would do the basics, which were uh, clean and jerk, right? That we counted that as one, and the snatch, right? Deep snatch is like the competition snatch. I would do those two, and would do squats, and I would add hang cleans and snatches and like power cleans and snatches. That was about it that I would do. And that's just like what my coach instructed me for like 7 years. And then when I came here and tried to do the programming from that gym, it was just so different. They would go heavy so often, man. And I don't know. I think I was doing like a 170. It was like a 175 kilo hang clean, something like that. Because I think I did like 172, which was really good. And then I went up. No, it was from the ground. It was from the ground. My bad. It was a 175, and I knew it because like 170 was like so slow. I know when it's gonna like you're not gonna make it. And if you're slow on cleans, you can break a wrist or whatever.
Yeah.
So I tried to like just get under it anyways. The pride, and oof, it was terrible. I have one shoulder's like I could pass one wrist. Usually people can do that. One wrist is faster than the other, so I would try to go like like one went and the other one stayed like this. So the other one was the one that like the bar landed on it and like
Okay.
it got squished between my like thigh. Thank God it didn't, like nothing happened. I went to the doctor and stuff here. Like there was no fractures. Like I'm lucky at least I think because I stretched and all that. But it was just like I couldn't move it. I couldn't like grip for the longest time. Gripping was so hard.
Mhm.
And like for weightlifting, you can't like it's just hook grip. So I don't know. That was a rough one. And just having to like not do anything for me. I would have to train whatever. So it was like I had to like just do sort of squats maybe, lay back a little bit, but you
Yeah.
know,
Just max out the leg press all day. Just get people to jump on top of the sled.
legit, right?
No, I got 2 more sets, man. Just stay on there. Dude, I remember I did the same thing. Like it was different. Like I was in a biking accident, like when we were doing our masters together, and I broke
Yeah.
my wrist, and it took me about 8 or 9 weeks to get back in the gym. But I was wrapping it up for like a good 3 or 4 months. Like I just didn't trust doing like pull-ups. I didn't trust doing like a bench press. It's now, I mean, a couple years later, I'm like, all right, like I can deadlift, I can do what I want to do. But it was just like the
Legit.
idea of just gripping something. I was like, I'm not ready for this yet. And you were performance, so that's different. I was just kind of
And
getting there and fooling
and
around.
and a huge thing about weightlifting is like fucking the mental aspect about it. So if you don't if like I was like if I wasn't confident on the lift, like my pull wasn't gonna be. It just affects it even more. If you're not confident, you're gonna do like when you any sort of movement you do. If you do like sort of scared, you're not gonna have the time to get under. You gotta go like full on. So, and me being scared of my wrists like getting injured again, and me being out another 6 weeks or something like that, I was like, I felt that affected me till like the competition day where I was like, you don't care in competition, but like before the whole preparation, you're like thinking about it, like, let me not risk it, so then you don't know what your real max is till the actual comp. I don't know. It just like messes it all up.
Would you was it kind of like strongman how you would get there and then you would kind of or like strongman or even powerlifting how you go there and you would bank on a score and you were like say this is what I'm going to lift today and you have to like continually go up and you have to bet against the other guy that you can lift heavier based on your three
It's
values.
so it's sort yeah. It's sort of we have three for snatch and three for clean and jerk, right? To like basically make it, and sort of the strategy involved in like going up and down because like you could win, but it's the same thing. Sort of betting, like oh I know I can do 5 kilos more than him, uh, but I know he can do. Yeah, I know I can do 5 more than him, but can he do like one more than that maybe today? I don't know. Is he feeling fresh? You gotta like the coach has to watch the warm up. There's a whole bunch of stuff. If like the people have been there like for a while, they're slick. Like my coach was so slick with like mental games. He would just like mess with people, be like, "Oh, you're looking like slow there," Like if from for example, my coach was an Olympian, so coming like I could say that to someone, they'd be like, "Oh, just like shut up, you don't know what you're saying." But coming from my coach, which was an Olympian, you'd be like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have a terrible
He's the
day."
master.
So, but like you would do like for example, oh, I'll go up, and then before the rules change now, but you could go up, and then if someone missed, you could go back down to the last attempt. So it was a lot of strategy involved into that, like how good you felt. It was weird. I was terrible at it. I would just like let my coach handle it. So
Yeah. Dude, I can't imagine my roommate's into powerlifting. He's trying to get me into a competition. I'm like, man, I can't.
yeah.
Just I don't want to take it seriously. I just like lifting weights a little bit.
Sometimes it's good for like if you've never done it for like if you do like one comp just to like cause I feel it's gonna be like what like a 12-week prep maybe something like that if you do it for so it depends. Sometimes it's good to do just like experience it, but yeah, after like with weightlifting that happened to me like after like 6 years of it I didn't like training at all. I would dread it, so yeah, sometimes I just prefer doing stuff just for fun, not really committing to it, because then I'm gonna end up hating it because I just know it.
Yeah, I was trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon for a few years, and it was over obsessive of like trying to keep my weight down and running
Mm-hmm.
5 6 days a week and like not. I tried not to like walk too much or be overexerting because like running 80 90 100 mile a week, it was just like at that point I was like, man, like this was impinging on like my life. I mean, hats off to anyone who can like really who can do that. I was watching like Steffi Cohen. The girl's a
Yeah.
beast. Girl, 25 world records. I was like, man, like, good for her. She's like a physical therapist and doing her whole thing. I was like, man, like that's awesome.
Yeah, I guess it's really easy for her to adapt to like, those sort of sport. It's I guess for me it would be so hard just to like pick up another discipline. Even if it's similar, it would be like just because it's even like people see powerlifting, for example, in weightlifting, it's so different. Like the squat, how powerlifters set up is so different than how we set up. It's a whole nother ballgame too. So it's just weird. So
So do you want to
hats off to her.
absolutely? Do you want to tell people how your wrestling came about? I remember when you got like scouted back at UCF. Do you want to go through the story? I love your videos on Instagram.
Uh, I got basically very frustrated with weightlifting at that point because it was just I've been doing it for 7 years I think at that point, and coming here was so different. Again, I had to where we used to train, you had to like it would only be open till 10 a.m. and then for example then 7 a.m. to like 10 a.m. So you had to train at that time, something like that. And then it would open again at the PM, like at 4 p.m. But we had class like 3 days a week, so there were like I want to say sometimes 2 days I couldn't make it. So I had to just like wake up in the morning, and then my turnover would be like so. What's the word? You know, I would train some days at 10 p.m. finish, and then get up the next day at 7 a.m. and train again because I had class. It was
Yeah, it
just,
was just inconsistent and yeah.
yeah, you know, if you don't train your body, it's just so hard when you're at that level. You know, if you want to try to make it more than just like, I don't know, college or whatever. Even in college, you know, it's really hard, and I don't know, I couldn't manage that, and that was the only gym I could go that I could afford to, you know, come in here. It was different, so and between that and I was trying to make the team so hard, and then frustrated with the federation in Puerto Rico not allowing me to just use the other competition, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna represent them, so it just benefits them if they let me do that. But it was just like, I don't know, that all just frustrated me. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do any sort of weightlifting. I'm just gonna do something else. And casually, I was a wrestling fan before, just casual wrestling fan, but I didn't want to do it at all because I had seen, I think, a video about like the 10 worst injuries in wrestling, and you know how we take anatomy basically, some basic classes for the masters, and we just know all the stuff they were saying. I know where there were like pec tears, quad tears, concussions. I was like, bro, this is unnecessary. You know, I don't. Why would I ever want to do this? You know, I don't want to. I hate going to the hospital. You know. And before then, I'd done cheerleading before, so it's like, oh, people say, oh, it's a similar thing, you know, like, no, I don't want to do that, you know, I don't want to, I don't know, it's just unnecessary, you know, health insurance here is so expensive, I was like, nah. But casually, I saw a wrestler, I saw Drew McIntyre in a Walgreens here. He was injured. He
Yeah.
had like I think a shoulder injury, but he was in a Walgreens right next to where I used to live. So I went there casually. He was there, and I was just like starstruck for a second because I was like, for people here, it's very normal because like in Orlando, you know, all the wrestlers hang out here. But for me, I'm from Puerto Rico, so it was like, yeah, and he's that guy's like 6'8". Some it was just so like I was just shocked. I was like, what? Like, and I asked the guy like, what is he doing here? Like, oh, they have the center here, or whatever. Like, okay, cool. So then I was like, okay, like try to focus all my energy that I used to have on sports. I was like, okay, I want to be like, since I'm doing the masters, I want to try to be like a trainer for wrestlers. And no one has. I was trying to think outside the box, you know. Like, oh, if I specify my training for wrestlers, it'd be good, you know, because like, and to actually know it, you have to understand the sport to actually be able to teach it. That's what I always say, you know, or what I believe, you know. But so I decided to get a school, right? So I found a school, and the first day I enjoyed training so much. I was so sore. Don't get me wrong. I was so sore. I was like, ugh. But it was just like so different that I was like, oh, let me just try it out. And then I just slowly got better, and I changed a couple of schools and met my girlfriend in that whole period. And I don't know, it's all just slowly it's been like a 2-year process, I want to say, 2 years and something like that, a little bit more. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's just been not planned at all, you know. So
But you haven't fun with it.
I guess, you know, and it was really weird in the beginning because I was like, I'm investing so much money in so many years. Like the Masters, I started first. You know this. I started in Puerto Rico first, and you remember it was just a whole mess when the hurricane hit over there that I couldn't. They didn't transfer any of my credits over when I
Yeah.
came, and I had like a year or so. I was like, I got to start over again. So I was like, I've invested like so much money, so much time into basically the Masters, and then um I like decided not to do it. You know, like I don't know, I want to pursue something else. Which was a big thing. Like for my parents, was just like you can just imagine in the beginning, and even now, it's like they're still like sort of like they support me, but they don't understand it. You know,
Yeah.
but like they slowly seem like that I've gotten like a little bit of success, so now they sort of it's a little easier for them to like just trust me. Before it was like they were like what are you doing, you know, like you're going crazy, and I was like, no, just, you know, it's just slowly going, you just don't see what I'm seeing, you know, you're over there, you know, it's just very slow process. But
It's kind of funny because when we first met, like in like the couple years we spent in school together, like you were training people, you got a good head on your shoulders, you have a master's degree, a master's degree. I mean, and that's like one of those things. It's like, why don't you use that? But it's like, hey, if you're doing well with wrestling and you can still be a trainer, and even if you wanted to fall back on your master's, there's amazing jobs that you can do and this is like, you're young, you're athletic, you enjoy doing it, and you're getting pretty good. You're getting a lot of notoriety on, Instagram with you and your girlfriend and everything. And I'm like, go for it. It's just, I think it's hard for someone of a different generation to see that, because people right now are having multiple careers and are branching out. So we support each other, but like the parents, I don't think they'll ever really understand unless you're The Rock. They'll be like, oh, okay.
Legit. Unless I bring a $1 million check the first week, they won't understand. Be like, oh my god, yeah. And even like you said, even if I could even fall back to that original plan, which is like training, helping wrestlers with their physical part. Like because 2 years, like if I keep wrestling, I understand more. Like even now, like my workouts have changed completely just because like that first like couple of months I got my shoulder was like completely like injured. I think it was AC joint. I got like it was just this like terrible. I couldn't bench for like forever, and I used to know me. I used to like bench heavy. I used to like I think my 5 rep was like 275. I used to like,
It's dirty.
and I'm pretty light. I'm 185, so I felt pretty good with that. I was like, I used to do I think 120s for 8 reps, and I couldn't bench forever. My shoulder wasn't feeling right. I was like, what is going on? So it was just like I had to like give it. And now it's been, I want to say a year basically. I've just been just like stretching my shoulder and slowly like doing, the therapy, the stuff we learned in class, all that, like dreading it. And now I'm sort of like starting to bench again like before, and sort of like gaining again mass in my chest. But I've had to adjust like my training. I don't, like I told you, I don't full sweat anymore because like my knees, they can, comparing like the training, you gotta, if I want to do what I'm doing in wrestling, I gotta be strong also, but I gotta adjust a lot of stuff. It's different.
How do you? I guess you probably learn a lot about like executing the move safely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's certain ways to do stuff safely, and again, there's stuff you just learn in certain situations and matches. Like, there's a couple of moves that have been like, and now I feel I'm very responsible, and by doing it, my girlfriend gets so mad at me when I do it. I don't tell her when I plan matches in the beginning. I used to do moves that I saw on YouTube a lot. And I was like, oh, I'm a cheerleader. I can do that. That's easier. And I sort of saw it, And again, I would think me and my big, ego, like, oh, I'm a kinesiology major. I love movement. I can just like watch the video, study,
Yeah.
and I can sort of do that now. But it's like, same thing as other sports, just like watch and film hours and hours. I was like, oh, I just watch a couple of clips. I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah. You
So
do the Jeff Hardy backflip, right?
I can do some stuff, but now there's ways like now when I train, like I try to always do stuff, practice it in training before I do it in a match, like, and have it to the point that I feel secure. Because if I feel insecure, just do a move. Like my neck was just feeling sore for the longest time because I was doing moves, just some moves, just doing them without like actually finding the way to do it safely. So yeah, there's definitely ways to do some safely and not. And again, not even like not thinking about, for me, hurting myself is not that bad. For me, like just hurting someone else, even going back to my cheerleading days, I could not, like, just being known as the base that would drop girls was like the worst. You don't want to be that guy. You always want to be safe. So I always think about it like, I learned, try to always do the moves the safest way, just to like be known as, that guy that everyone wants to wrestle just because he's safe. You can trust him, that's, have a good rep.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Where did you come up with like the idea of Action Jackson? Where did that? I love it's like an alter ego. It's so cool.
I feel that's like
I'm gonna share the screen as you explain it because I put these on YouTube also. Is that okay to share?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Basically, I think it's a very it's funny because it's like my girlfriend is where I'm gonna be 28 on November now. And my girlfriend's 24, and for her it's kind of funny, but for like I realize that people for like our generation, like that grew up on Die Hard, Schwarzenegger, all those movies, it's even funnier, and they get it more. My girlfriend's like, it's funny, but she finds it stupid sometimes. But a lot of people find it, like, from our age group, find it like they love it. And I have had messages like, for me it's funny because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying stuff, because like when you're starting wrestling, you have to like just try and see. So my girlfriend always says that your character is you just elevated to like 11, you know? So you got to
Yeah.
find something that you like. In the beginning, I tried this stupid fitness gimmick. It was a kind of like, ha ha ha. But it was like, I didn't like feel comfortable with it because like, oh, you know, I work out and all that, but I don't want to be just like known as the guy that works out, you know? So
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
it's,
ah,
I completely get that. It's like you're like a Terminator.
legit. So I was like just sitting down, like just trying to brainstorm. I was like, I can't get it. Like I don't feel like I was a creative person at all. So I was like, I gotta think. And then I sort of try to start out like, oh, I want to be like an action star. Was the first original like draft. Like I want to be like an action star that went crazy. You know, that he doesn't know that he is like in and that's a rough draft. Just like don't judge me on it. Rough draft. I was like, oh, he doesn't know where like because I was working in the gym at the time, and I was like, oh, like just thinking that he just went crazy in the gym. He's just like acting like an action star, but sort of like what's the movie? The Last Action Hero. You know how he with the Arnold Schwarzenegger, he like brings him into like real life from the movie, so he's not
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
he beat it actually. So that was the original draft, and then I was like, okay, that's too like out of the box. You got to like dial it in more. And as the years went on, I kept like working on it, just watching stuff, and I took a bunch of seminars also and stuff, and I would just ask a bunch of questions. That would be very annoying. And people would I would just keep dialing down on what I wanted to do. And a guy said, "Oh, your biggest inspiration for wrestling is just movies for your character. Just find movies." I was like, "Okay." And my dad just grew me up on Die Hard, Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Uh, like Action Jackson is based a lot on Cobra, the movie from Stallone.
Yeah.
That's based.
Yeah.
That's like I just all those movies, and I guess you also grew up on that stuff. It's just like the funniest character, but I thought about it, mixed it up with like, um, what's the word? Just being sort of like based off that, but being like a real person. Be someone that you could like actually meet, but like be like this guy's stupid. I guess. But I don't know. Just basically an action star. Yeah. So it's a washed up action hero. I think about it.
Dude, I loved like growing up watching like Hulk Hogan, where he would like take his shirt off and listen for the
Over the
crowd,
top. Yeah.
just larger than life. And that's what you want. You want to turn your brain off and jump into this fantasy world of like you guys are larger than life. I love it.
And in the beginning, like I said, I wasn't sure what I was doing because I was like, I don't know, I don't want to get back. I don't know, like, I don't want to be like too hokey, whatever. But like I said, a lot of people that weren't wrestling fans were reaching out and were like, "Oh, I love that character." And then my coach, he also wrestles, and I run a bunch of stuff by him first, just to like, because I don't want to do something and that gets me like in trouble or it's like perceived the wrong way. And he was like, "Oh, that's great. You have to go more over the top." That's how like he used to say like he liked the promos a lot, like the videos that you used to do on Instagram. But when I wrestled, he wouldn't see the character. He would say, "You got to add the character to the show," because people come to he has like a wolf gimmick. He's like a wolf, last of his kind, whatever. And you can see like the whole time when he comes in with a mask. Out under the mask, he has his face painted. He has like one of those Jon Snow like fur capes.
Yeah.
It's full on. When he goes in, you're like, oh my god, like this guy. You understand his persona. With me, he wouldn't see it first, so I was like, okay. So like I said, slowly, just like trying to find stuff like and even stuff in the ring. I try to think about like I'm one that my memories like I'm like Dory. It just I have to like my girlfriend, like she's so good. She's been doing it for so long, but she's so good at like they tell her like she gets like the match, whatever it's planned, whatever, and she can like just remember everything and like it react very well. I have to like just be like think about what we're gonna do beforehand a bunch of times, just like so I can think about certain places where I want to do stuff. So for the character, like there's even lines where I'm thinking, okay, movies that I see. I was seeing what was I seeing the other day? I was seeing Tremors. Have you seen Tremors?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it.
Tremors is like it's like hokey horror action, whatever. So there's a character the same thing. It's like the action hero, Burt Gummer. He said like a line that I don't remember right now, but it was so funny. I was like, oh, that's something I could say like in the ring if I like hit someone or get kicked, just like have that moment to like get the show the character. People will be like, okay, I get it. So I don't know. It's still, and again, I have to develop way more stuff, but it's a good start at least, you know.
Yeah, it's great because I remember when I was like a little kid, we used to play SmackDown versus Raw, and I would always be like Kane or the Big Show or one of those guys, and they always had their little taglines. Even with The Rock, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? And like that, you're gonna be that person for for kids growing up. Like I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I hope, man. And again, right now in modern wrestling, and even me, I stopped watching wrestling for like a bunch of years when I was like, I want to say through middle school, maybe high school, I stopped watching, and then there was a lot of stuff that I missed. And right now, a lot of the wrestling now, there's just a lot of stuff that basically people critique that's not a lot of personas, like you say, like Hulk Hogan's, there's not larger like characters. And again, it's a different era, which is really hard to do that. But you can still like, there's still people who manage to like sort of pull it off, but just people just, I guess, don't want to either don't develop the character or don't think about that sort of stuff. I don't know. I get very I overthink about that all like too much. So I don't know. I get obsessed with it. So hopefully, like it's like you've seen the character sort of develop. Hopefully, I can just keep adding to it or take away the stuff that's like doesn't work. Just make it work.
Dude,
I
when you
guess.
came out, I'm gonna share this again. This was my favorite thing that you did. I mean, since I've known you, you've had dreadlocks, you've had some facial hair, and you like it's perfect. And like the t-shirts, man, like when you came out with those and you had like this was who you are, especially like you and your girlfriend, like when you had those
Yeah.
on, that is
Yeah.
so rad. Like it's like you're punk, but you're larger than life. You're flexing your lash, she's flexing. I think that's just it's who I would have like completely looked up to if I was 10 years old. And I'm looking at that picture going, man, I know that guy. Like that's awesome.
No, it's crazy because like you met me, I'm very like shy. Even you saw me like in class, I'm very like quiet. I would like you talk to me because you're like just very talkative, but I was like always just I don't know. And coming from Puerto Rico, that first time I was like, oh my god, English was just so hard at the beginning to just like think because I would think about stuff in Spanish and just like the wording is different. So just like I don't know, I've had people just say like reach out to my girlfriend stuff like oh like same thing, like, oh, like they like what you're doing, the action, man. People from back home, like, oh, they call me like, what was it? We went to. This is insane. I went to my girlfriend had a wrestling match last year in Chicago. It was War Games, right? That's a huge event, and Chicago is a big wrestling town. So, basically that was like I went there also just to like see her. It was like I got a chance. I went over there. I think I did I wrestle over there. I tried to wrestle. I didn't get to wrestle. But yeah, just I got a chance to see her though. It was a huge event, and then randomly, it was so stupid. But when I was walking down to the seats. It was another story though, real quick. My girlfriend was like, I think I got you some tickets. It was me and a friend of mine. I got you some tickets, so just pick him up in the box. We went to the box. For some reason, Mike, I was so mad. The lady I gave her my name and my friend's name. So I'm asking in the ticket booth, can you give me my tickets, please? I'm gonna give her my name. There's no tickets for your name, and then I'm trying to call my girlfriend, but she's the opening match, and the whole reason I came to Chicago was to see her. So if I don't make it in there, she's gonna kill me. So
Yeah.
I'm just stressed, and I'm like, there can't like, there's no other way. Like it's my name. Like we're trying. Like my friend, and like I don't know for some reason I think about my friend. Like, give him your ID. Maybe like it's on your name, Mike. Both tickets were under his name for some reason. And I'm like, why would like so we get in there last minute and then we were like going down the arena to I asked for the tickets were on the other side, so we're running down. I think it was what's the arena, the Chicago arena. I think is it Allstate? I don't know. Some random arena. I'm coming down the first level and I'm like giving tickets to the person. They're like, okay, just keep going down. And then I look at my friend and like again, bro, I'm from Puerto Rico. I've never been to like a huge wrestling show. So for me this is like again, like I've been with my girlfriend for a while, but like I still, get sort of excited when I see certain people you saw when you were growing up, and certain like a wrestling show that big, like anyone gets excited. So and I've never been so close. So I kept going. We went down one more row, and then he's like, "Oh no, just go down to the floor." Mike, we were second row on the floor.
Really?
And the crazy part is, as we're going down, I just hear someone say, "Hey, Action Man," and I'm like, I look at my friend like, "What the like? Did he just say Hey, Action Man?" Like, and for me, like, so stupid. It was one person, but just like, I don't know, just like seeing that at least like they recognize me through the characters. Like, okay, so I'm doing something right, at least. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. That was my story. Long story and a lot of side plots,
I
but
love that. That is so great. It just shows like and that's like the one thing that I wanted to show on this podcast was that like when we first met each other, you're the exact same person. You're quiet, you're humble, and you're just like a genuinely good guy. And like it's almost like it's just like a complete humbleness. And then you have this larger than life persona, and I wanted to understand how you can just turn it on like that. And even now, like you're a professional wrestler and you have your own t-shirts and action figures and like you're Action Jackson and people are yelling out your name and you're still like, nah man, I'm just doing my thing. I think it's amazing. We need more people like you, man.
no, still I still have my job. I still work in a gym part time. Like I would, and I say I'm not training people, but I'm working in the gym just because and I have to keep it part time just so I have availability just to like wrestle because you never know. Wrestling is weird. You have to be ready, man. Like I wrestled. I had an opportunity a couple months ago. It was like one of the big companies. Oh, and it was just like last minute. They called me. They called me because someone had canceled, and I just showed up. And it was one of those things. Like if I was working like a full time or something, I wouldn't have been able to make it. I would have had to quit. So I don't know. I still have my job, and I'm still trying to like just slowly just keep. I don't know. Just keep grinding. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. And it's weird because again, I know and it's a tough business because like right now, like you say, you're a professional wrestler and all that, but like you say, I still have my regular job, and I still like it's still hard to like find wrestling opportunities. You still have to like I'm still at the level that still people sort of know who I am, but I still have to I haven't had that much experience. I haven't been wrestling for any big companies or I haven't what's the word paid my dues yet. So I still in that process. And again, I don't mind it. That's the best part, the process always, and you have to trust it. So
Yeah, I don't know how close you follow bodybuilding, but like the Mr. Olympia.
yeah, I've been
So
watching. Yeah,
like do you know Patrick Moore?
you got me on that one.
I was
Maybe I
thinking,
wasn't watching.
yeah, he's like a new up and coming guy, and he was
Okay.
he placed like sixth at the Olympia. I think last year. I mean, the Olympia's in like I think 12 weeks right now, so people are getting ready
Okay.
to go to
Yeah.
Ohio, and but he placed sixth. Like Patrick Moore's got a great physique, and he was when he was training for the Olympia, and even after he placed sixth, he was a personal trainer working. And what it's like to be. We were both personal trainers. Like you're on the
And
floor 8 hours a day.
you hate it's like that's one of the reasons why I don't train people now. Because like if you train in a like a global gym, it just scars you. So
Yeah,
like when like I haven't trained people since because I was like this was just a terrible experience. Because I don't know, it was just so much effort for nothing. You felt it at some points. So yeah, my bad that I cut you off. I just had to add
no.
that.
It's the same thing. It's always like the 40 to 50-year-old moms and dads who are just like, oh yeah, like I want to get
Like just
abs.
you prepare a whole training program for them, and then you just find out they're eating terribly, and you're trying to like
Yeah.
keep, and then they get mad at you because your program's not working. And I'm like, bro, but I'm trying to help you. Like, it's yeah, you get
And
it.
if you want to get paid, they're like, oh, can you come in on Saturday at 3? It's like, well, you want to keep the lights on? You're there Saturday at 3, and that's what it is.
Is what I'm saying. But yeah, you're saying he was a personal trainer then. The Patrick was still while he was doing the Olympia. You said.
Yeah, so I mean, he's now like sponsored by like Yamamoto and Labrada, and like he's now like doing pretty well. But I mean, he was on stage at the Olympia, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, and people are looking at, oh my God, you're Patrick Moore, but he still had to pay the bills by being a personal trainer. And like, I watched the whole thing on YouTube, on like Muscle and Strength did this whole thing on them. They're like, you're Patrick Moore, but you're a personal trainer. He's like, yeah, I'm not Mr. Olympia though. So like people know me, but I'm not Phil Heath, I'm not the
Yeah, he's
guy.
not making the big boy money yet.
Yeah. So it's like, just, you pay your dues and you enjoy the process along the way.
That's what I'm saying. Like my girlfriend, she, like I said, she was wrestling for eight. She's been wrestling for 8 years now, and she was here in this country for 3 years. And those first, she's been getting like a lot of like hype and more like notoriety this last year, I want to say. But before then, she was just grinding over here, you know. And I like just I would hear the stories, and I would see her even like now this like how I work out really hard because she's always pushing me, you know. So she's always just like, you know, I strive to just try to keep up to her, I guess. But like I said, she's just grinding. Those first years, she was like, she would wrestle. She would have to go to the performance center just like, I guess, every day. Then weekends, they would have shows all over Florida, you know, like Mineola or like Tampa, and they would have to travel. She would only have one day off, you know. So she was like that for 2 years until finally, you know, just she was just ready, you know. So and then she just got the ball and roll with it. So sometimes you just gotta grind, you know. But it's rough.
Yeah, I think Ed Sheeran did that. I know it's kind of out of the scope of what we're talking about, but apparently he played live shows every day of the week, 7 days a week for something like 6 or 7 years until he finally got a song on the radio. It's like, hey, you think you're working hard?
That's what I'm
Work
saying. It's like
365
same thing. Like Kai Green, like how was he working out for the longest time until he got, you know,
Yeah,
started getting some sponsorships, and he was like, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you feel like you're having like it'd be like, oh yeah, like a bad situation or whatever. Then you think about other people that have been through way worse and then keep going. You know, like just for me, like I always like if I feel like oh you know I'm having a rough moment, I look at Kai Green videos. That's one of the guys that I'm like, you know, he was just with nothing, just grinding and grinding until, you know, it just happened. So sometimes you just gotta put your head down, I guess, right?
yeah. And if you enjoy it, then we're here another day. Just keep moving. I don't want to keep you too long. This was great, Kevin. Thanks for coming on Ice Cream Hour.
Thank you. This is my first podcast ever, so yeah.
I'm
Like I said,
gonna.
usually I'm very shy and like I don't, you know, just weird about it. So you're the first one. I was like, oh, he's my friend. I'm gonna try to make this work.
This is great. I'm gonna share this out. I'm gonna link your Instagram down in the description. Do you do
Thank you.
Twitter or anything like that, or your
Yeah, I
Instagram?
have at Army of Action.
Okay.
So yeah, I try to get the action when it was taken. So I'll take Army of Action. You know.
Oh, dude, that's pretty badass. Yeah. Awesome, everyone. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ice Cream Hour. This is Kevin, aka we'll say it,
The Action Man.
the Action Man. There he is. Definitely check him out. He's a great guy, and known each other for a few years. I'm looking forward to watching another Super Bowl together, getting some more pizza. That's another thing. We stuffed our face with pizza before our final exam. We showed up late.
Bro, and you're from Philadelphia. That was the scariest. I've never been to like a Super Bowl party, and then I didn't know that Philadelphians were aggressive. And then you were telling me there were being riots in Philadelphia. And I'm like, but you guys won. Why are you guys mad? Like, that's just how we are, you know.
That's it, man.
So
My mom bought me a bumper sticker on my car with Rocky, and it's him going like this, and it says "Made in Philly." And then
oh,
I
that's
have it
perfect.
proudly. Like, my horn stopped working because I was honking too much. It's like, that's it, man.
That's what I'm
All right. On
saying.
that note, Kevin, I'll text you when this comes out, and you can give it a listen. Best of luck, brother. I'll talk to you soon, and can't wait to see your next wrestling moves.
Man, thank you so much for the support, man. So and really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
All right, man. I'll see you.
See you.